Welcome to AirPlay. I'm Coni Koepfinger. Today's show is The Edge of Every Day. It was written and is performed by Sandra Bargman. Sandra Bargman has appeared in the Madison Square Garden's Broadway national tour of Cinderella, starring Eartha Kitt. She has also appeared off-Broadway internationally in numerous tours, has played leading roles in regional theaters and summer stock productions across the country, and has sung in many of the cabaret rooms of New York City. She holds a BFA from Carnegie-Mellon University, and her distinct voice can be heard in a wide variety of commercials on radio and television. And if that's not busy enough for us, Sandra is a seminary-trained, ordained interspiritual minister and is the founder of Sacred Stages LLC. Sacred Stages is an organization that combines her performing background and ministry. Or as she likes to say, Sacred Stages combines a desire to serve and lead in a spiritual capacity and to shake my booty on stage. Her company is dedicated to encouraging everyone to explore our bigger questions about life and to rediscover timeless, universal truths through the venue of live theater, music, media, and workshops. Welcome, Sandra Bargman.
Hi, Connie. It's great to be here.
Welcome, and thanks for being on AirPlay today.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here.
This show, The Edge of Every Day, sounds fascinating. Your press
Thank you.
Welcome. Your press reads, The Edge of Every Day, which explores our fear of change and ultimately our acceptance of the dichotomies of life. The edge is where our resistance, our reluctance to embrace the diversity of life collides with the inevitability of change in all of the corners of our lives. Sandra considers the tension between these seeming paradoxes with poignancy and comedy, and with music ranging from David Bowie, Eric Clapton, to Georgia Stitt and David Cantor. The show is a rowdy ride. Wow. The Edge of Every Day. What an interesting title. It certainly hits me. What's the metaphor there?
Well, I got the idea for The Edge of Every Day, which is my first one-woman show under the umbrella of Sacred Stages. I had done a show with another friend of mine, but then I decided that I really needed the platform of a one-woman show, and I got the idea for The Edge of Every Day because it was what was happening in my life at the time. I was really noticing that I was dealing with a lot of quote-unquote darker aspects of my life. There was some grief and some sadness combined with, a lot of nice things that were happening. And I noticed that everyone in my life was talking about this push-pull between quote-unquote, their lighter aspects and some of the darker things that they were challenged with in their life. And so I started to get this idea about the edge of every day. And I thought about a conversation that I had had with my husband, who described to me, there's actually a scientific term called the edge effect. And he told me when we were having this discussion that it is when two very different ecosystems come together, a forest and a field, for instance, and it's where these two ecosystems meet that we find the most diversity and complexity and chaos and creativity. And it just struck me that was just like life. Everything in life, all of the issues that we face and the understandings and the paradoxes that we hold in our life, where these two meet, that's the edge, and that we actually have both of these at play all the time, and that, we really need to embrace them.
Yeah, and isn't it funny that once again we learn from Mother Nature, right? We look into
totally
biology.
Exactly.
I'm looking at this show, and I've read about it. They say form follows function. You have the most unusual format for this show. Cabaret, ritual. Tell me about that. How did you come up with such a vehicle?
Well, I love mashups. Let's just be real. I love cabaret. I've always, my background is really in music theater and straight plays, and more so than film. And I love the venue of cabaret. I've done many different cabaret shows throughout my entire life. Some with friends, some one woman. I love the format. I love the telling of stories and the intimacy with the audience, which harkens back to the beginning, the roots of theater, with audience participation and a real sense of presence. I love the sexiness of the cabaret rooms. There's no fourth wall in cabaret, as there often is in theater. And in addition, I've always loved ritual and ceremony. And I actually taught ritual when I was a dean of first-year students at the seminary through which I was ordained for 3 years. Ritual certainly isn't theater, but theater certainly is ritualistic and ceremonial. So I got the idea of The Edge of Every Day, and a show that explores these seeming paradoxes and embraces both the light side and the dark side of life. And I thought it would be wonderful to meld ritual and cabaret. And I came up with this term, cabaritual.
Wow. It's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, the roots are there. The roots of theater. I like how you put that theater is not ritual, but ritual is theater. That's fascinating. Let's hear the opening number.
Absolutely.
The Edge of Every Day, starring Sandra Bargman.
my brain to the ground. These are the days it never rains, but on the edge of every day, there are people on the streets. There are people on the streets. It's a terror of knowing what this world is about. Watching some good friends scream and cut me out. Straight tomorrow takes me higher. Pressure on people on the streets. Turned away from it all like a blind man. Sat on a fence, but it don't work. Keep coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn. Why? Love, 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 love. Insanity lasts under pressure, we're cracking. Can we give ourselves one more chance? Why can't we give love one more chance? Why can't we give love, give love, give love, give love, give love, give love, give love? 'Cause love, such an old-fashioned word, and love tells you to care for the people on the edge of the night, and love tells you to change your way of caring about ourselves. This is our last chance. This is our last dance. This is ourselves. Under pressure. Under pressure. Under pressure.
The audiences and the critics rave. Bargman providing some genuine musical skills. Matthew Murray talking Broadway. Sandra Bargman advanced to the audience, channeling her inner Sophie Tucker while filling the room with her charisma. She managed to translate zeal into a fascinating evening in song. Benjamin, theater pizzazz. Wonderful stuff, Sandra.
Well, thanks, Connie. So, ritualistically speaking, that was the processional, if you will, coming to, quote-unquote, the sacred space that is intended for the event. And the Sophie Tucker, there will be some changes made. I love that as well. I just love Sophie Tucker, but I love the opening statement right out of the gate that this is not your typical show. This is not a typical cabaret show, but both stylistically, externally for me, but also an internal experience. And then Under Pressure, the great David Bowie, Freddie Mercury tune, and it really talks about, it brings home, it's a song everyone loves, but it brings home the edge and the urgency for now is the time for change. Now is the urgency for us to be self-reflective. Now is the time.
You know, everybody's talking about that. Now is the time. Let's go back to the show, though. I want to know, you help us out. This is a radio show, so help us out with the visual. What are you wearing during this show?
I love that you asked that. I love that you asked that because I had an insanely wild outfit on that just everyone cracked up when they saw me. I came out in this full-length black coat, and on my head was this enormous hat that I actually made. I found the base of it in Chinatown. It's this big, round Asian hat, and on top of that, I put huge leaves, huge sunflowers, all kinds of glitter. I spray painted it gold. A friend of mine created bumblebees and dragonflies that we put on wire that look like they're flying around my head. In my hand, I had, as tall as me, a staff. On top, there was a owl with a rhinestone unibrow. So that's how I walked into the room, carrying all of those things. And of course, everyone screamed. And they were very over-the-top presentations. But as the show progressed, and I talked about the owl and the dragonfly and the bumblebee and the wisdom of Native American wisdom, the traditions of which is part of my spiritual journey. And I shared all of those icons in a deeper way. And so the top layer, of course, was a lot of fun and profane and lots of laughter, but the undercurrent always is much more poignant.
Wow. This is a fascinating show. Okay, so that was the processional. Now we have something.
And then we wanted to move into the opening prayer. Once we're in the sacred space and we want to bless it, and we want to have an opening prayer. And I couldn't find anything. You know, I YouTubed like a fiend. Every song that had light in it, dark in it. Found some, which is how I found both of those tunes that I wove together as the opening. But I couldn't find anything that felt like an opening prayer. And my collaborator and musical director, Ian Herman, the most talented Ian Herman, urged me, let's write a tune.
Cool.
And we did. We wrote our opening prayer, and so here's a little snippet of it.
Who's to Say?
Yes, Who's to Say by Ian Herman and Sandra Bargman. When does the rainbow touch the storm? When is the light's shadow born? Where does the river meet the sea? Who's to say how troubled hearts are set free? The storm of life that we move through to face our fear of living true. Don't be afraid of your whole song. We all have demons. Who's to say they're always wrong? Walking close to your legs, it hurts to be free. And she stood. I love that line. We all have demons. Who's to say they're always wrong?
Absolutely.
And once again, the embrace of the wholeness of who we are. These things that these shadow aspects of ourselves that we want to push away can inform us in ways that that we need to hear.
That alone is such an enchanting song. I hope to hear more of your original music. That's just fascinating. And I love the way you draw from other people and then you bring in your own music. This is just a fascinating piece. Tell me now, okay, the next song's like the meet and greet song. Tell me, this is a fascinating little title, and tell me how you found this song. Be My Baby Bumblebee.
Be my little baby bumblebee. I was watching TMC one afternoon, and there was a movie on Silver Linings with Doris Day, and she sings the song in that musical. And I mean, it's just a hilarious little ditty, and I thought, well, how wouldn't that be a great meet and greet song now that I've brought in all of this Native American understanding, and I've just after the song that I just wrote with Ian, I really go into all of those icons and really talk about them and the power, the animal, the totem animal medicine of each of them, and the bee being about communication and community. And so when I heard that tune, I said, well, that's it. And so we turned that into a meet and greet tune. It's hilarious. I got Ian to actually sing with me, and then I went out into the audience and chose two people to come up on stage. You know, I ask everyone if they know how bees communicate, and they, you know, and I wait for everyone to say dance, somebody to say dance, and a lot of people know that, but they don't know that the ridiculous scientific name is called waggle. Yes, waggle. That's scientific term. That cracks me up.
Yeah.
Like, waggle. You can just see some scientist off somewhere going, I'll just name that the waggle. But anyway, so I get a couple of people out of the audience to come up on stage and shake their booty with me and waggle. And of course, it's very fun, and it just gets everyone really laughing and feeling playful. And then I asked them on the last time I sing through it, we do 3 times, is to introduce themselves to someone that they don't know. Very ritualistically, to get everyone really on the same page and feeling close with one another and connected. And I give out a little treat at this point in the show, and we talk about that. So it's really a cute little ditty.
It sounds like so much fun, and then just like every day, it gets serious. And the next thing you do, you have an intention-setting song.
I mean, it's really important for me, like the edge of every day, and like life, and like ritual. We need both the profane and the profound.
Wow.
And include that in every ceremony that I create, be it this show, be it any other types of ceremony that I offer. That's life. And that's also the idea behind this show. So now we've had our fun, and we move into the intention setting song, the group work, where we're going to move a little more deeply into the work. But I've chosen a song that is still fun. It's clever fun. It's smart, it's dumb like a fox. It's called Crazy Eyes. It's by singer-songwriter David Cantor, who is from Dave's True Story. He's a great songwriter, singer-songwriter, and he does film work, film music work. Very prolific, and his songs are very clever and whimsical. His lyrics are really clever, whimsical, and also very truthful. And the song "Crazy Eyes" talks about. Well, I'll play it for you. You'll get the idea. It talks about. I'll let it speak for itself.
Despair and ecstasy, or as I like to say, being in relationship. There's no better description of the edge now, am I right? You've got a blue eye, deeper than any blue. As for the green one, I think that it's charming too. But with the two of them together, I'm left in great perplexity. Each time those crazy eyes gaze on me, because with that blue one, you tell me you think I'm swell. Then with the green one, guess that I'm in for hell. I watch a devilish delight mixed with such blight mendacity. Each time those crazy eyes gaze on me. Each time those crazy eyes gaze on me. Those crazy eyes, you got such crazy eyes. You're nothing more than trouble in a crazy disguise. Well, those crazy eyes, you got such crazy eyes. Seems those eyes are gone and shut the trap. I tried to fight it, but what a delicious fun. I tried to fight it.
Wow. You know, Sandra, I am just mesmerized with this show. I can't wait to see it. And it's fascinating to me that, you know, I'm big on the Greeks, and I think we learn from the Greeks. That's all our theater tradition, to entertain, to educate, and exalt the spirit. But you go one further here, because, you know, you entertain, you educate us, and you exalt the spirit here. But then somehow you're moving into the relationships and really working this stuff out. It's almost like therapy. It's amazing.
Actually, One of my friends, she said the same thing. She said, "Wow, I was entertained, and it was like therapy."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's, to have you talk about audience participation and interaction. I mean, you go into this holy space, you experience this thing, you have fun with it, you open up, and now you're going to do something with it? Tell me about Holy Secret.
Yeah, so this is the point where, okay, we've set the intention and we've opened the door to relationships, and then we move more deeply into them and we discover all of the edges in relationships. It's not by accident that we discover so many of our edges in our relationships, all of our relationships with everyone and everything. And so we move out of comedy into a song called Holy Secret by Georgia Stitt that talks about a relationship falling apart and the necessity in viewing the brokenness of this relationship as the springboard for becoming more of who you are. That, there's this great line from the song that says, "You've got to fall to pieces to let the pieces grow." This, you can't hide behind, you got to get real. You just got to get real. You can't hide behind these notions when the darker side of things become evident. You have to be overtaken and allow that and see it as something really positive, even though in the moment it may not seem that way. That's the undercurrent of the show and this message and this edge that, I cracked this joke at the top of the show and said, we want to be light, light, light. We love the light. We love the light. We want to be the light. And we're often taught that it's only the light that is good. And I referenced Owl, and I said, but, Owl teaches us that there is great wisdom and great knowing in the shadow.
I'm talking here today on AirPlay with Sandra Bargman. Her show, The Edge of Every Day, ritual, cabaret, absolutely stunning. It's taking us to a deeper level. It's a ritual. It's a cabaret. It's fun. It's comedy, it's tragedy, and it's something in between. Now we're down with the grief.
Yeah, now we're really down. We've taken that song down into the grief, and then we find, then there's a song Dark. It's an old Julie London tune. And it's a mesmerizing song that completely captures the anguish of grief, of feeling completely shut down. And I'll just play a little snippet of it for you.
And cold outside, and dark, moonless night, and such a frightful dark. Everything's strange and real. Cheerful scenes have disappeared. Since you've gone.
Wow. Really, Sandra, it just hit me that this show speaks to something even larger. Why create art? I mean, you got to go all the way down into that dark hole to come back.
I love that. That's so true. You got to go down in that hole.
And it speaks to why we create art. It's to explore the dark, step into it, and then rise out of it.
Yeah. Well, and back to what at the top of the show when we were talking about even coming up with the edge of every day. I mean, and I said it was happening in my own life. It was this need, this show I needed. I had to create this platform, this particular style of show, and just my sadness at how slowly I was doing it at the time, and using that sadness to really invigorate and really just go down in and pull it out.
So we're
yeah, love that.
Edge. We're close to the end of the edge here. What's happening? What's the
end? We're close to the end of the grief section, if you will. I don't really call it the grief section, but we start to lift out of this, and the message is coming out of the dark, with the aptly titled "Coming Out of the Dark," the John Cicada and Gloria Estefan song. Now, this is pretty. It's a lovely anthem to the entire portion of that, really lifting out and being changed by the darkness.
Why be afraid if I'm not alone? Life is never easy, the list is unknown. For up to now, for me it's been hands against stone. I spent each and every moment searching for what to do, coming out of the dark. I finally see the light and a shining moon. Coming out of the dark, I know the love that saved me. You'll share it with me. Starting again, it's part of the plan. But I'll be so much stronger holding your hand. Step by step I'll make it through. I know I can. It may not make it easier, but I'll do either way. Coming out of the dark, I finally see the light now, and it's shining on me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Coming out of the dark, I know the love that saved me. You're sharing with me, yeah, forever. Standing on the rock of my love, forever and ever. Can't nobody stop me. Coming out of the dark, I finally see the light, and it's shining on me. Coming out of the
Wow, Sandra, this is something else here. You know, it's interesting because it's definitely avant-garde. You had your forefathers with Peter Brook, Bertolt Brecht, Artaud, you know, the theater of cruelty, the theater of alienation, the Holy Theater, and all of these bring us to that, you know, what we call in the industry the experience of the communion between the actors and the audience. But
Exactly.
But you've taken this one step further, because the meditation not only goes through the spectator, but it spreads throughout the crowd.
Well, that's the community, the communion with the community. Yeah. And that, of course, is always our desire, is to build our community and to feel, it's the experience of oneness.
So what's the big finish?
So we move out of there and we explore, the last edge that we explore is our relationship with our bodies and our senses. And of course, in today's world, there's so much shaming and, you're supposed to like this and not supposed to do that. And, it's just insane, all of these ridiculous rules and just this celebration of desires and who we are as being okay. And I literally offer a little meditation here. I ask everyone to go into meditation, and, most everybody adores it. There have been a couple of people who are like, what? There's a meditation in this cabaret show? And for them, we offer, it's not really long, and then there's a wonderful joke that really puts an understanding on it at the end. I say, meditation with a 2-drink minimum.
There you go.
And, so it's once again an offering. You get to choose how deeply you want to do this work, like life. It's a statement on that. Mm-hmm. And then when we move immediately out of that, I crack that joke and we go we finish that work with a really sexy song called Kama Sutra by Canadian songwriter David Reimer. And then we finish that and move into the end.
Closing prayer. Can you share that with us, Sandra?
Absolutely. And I think this is really probably the most, it really wraps up the show. It's probably the most important takeaway for me in this piece. I needed a closing prayer, and I landed on Everyday People by Sly and the Family Stone. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite songs, and, it talks about oneness, of course. And that we're all everyday people. And I got this idea to do a rap right in the middle of the tune. Okay. All right, I'll try that. And I had so much fun with it. It's like beat poetry to me. And I really had a great time with it. And it really, well, I'll rap a bit of it for you.
Sure.
Life isn't black, no, and life isn't white. It's gray or it's beige, so tasteful taupe. Right? Dualistic nature, balance darkness and light. Cozy up chaos, 'cause you're on the launch in sight. That which is that, oh, and that which is this, it's all part of the whole. Judge no thing as less. Where sadness meets love and where life meets death, understand the holy contradictions are all blessed. This judgment of every relentless inspection, seduce contradiction, we are a complex one. Resist your inheritance of ghost-like perfection. You merit self-romance, not Facebook post. Like reflection. Don't hide your madness, you are a magician. Your shadow enhances the color condition. What's major without minor, you jazz musician? Blur all of your lines and blow off the audition.
Wow.
And then I stomp around the stage, and then we do the second half of Everyday People. It's great fun.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What an experience, an expansive spiritual experience without the dogma, without the judgment. Yeah. Thank you, Sandra, for sharing a bit of your everyday here today.
Oh, a pleasure, Connie.
Oh, it's been wonderful. But before you leave us today, tell us a little bit more about your company, about Sacred Stages. Are you doing anything else? And we did some things together. My work is very connected to this. I haven't explored it to this extent. This is, to me, it's just, my jaw drops. I'm in amazement to what you have done with the form.
Wow, I would say you have explored it to this extent.
No, but I mean, it's like this. Just hearing you talk about what went into this, just I'm in awe. I really am. I just think the work is phenomenal. But tell us a little bit about some of your other projects and such that you were working on.
Okay, well, Sacred Stages, the idea for Sacred Stages was born when I was in seminary. I was ordained in 2007, and I did 2 years of seminary at one interfaith seminary, and then I did 2 years again at another one. And while I was there, I was really analyzing my relationship to my work as an actor and a singer, and what I wanted that to be in my life, and it was really under inspection. And in what relationship would it be? I discovered all of the reasons why I became an actor, and was reconnected to all of that they both have. An actor's job is to know themselves deeply, and that's the essence of the spiritual journey. That's what we're all striving as spirits having a human experience, to know ourselves more deeply. So it was really, it really connected those dots for me in a way that I probably, could have articulated, but really deeply got it in my bones when I was there. And so, so I love studying all things spiritual and everybody's path, and I want to be a support and a leader in that category for people finding their own truths. But for me personally, where am I going to go to have an expansive experience? Now, it's generally not in the church for me. And, I enjoy attending them. I enjoy learning about all of these systems, and I've studied the non-traditional ones too. So where do I want to go to have my community and to have my expansive experience? Well, it's the stage. And I just, it was just like, duh, get it, I got it. And it is my altar. And that's when I started really reconnecting with the ancient roots of theater. And, channeling the gods and goddesses, and actors were viewed as doing that and bringing back nuggets of wisdom from the other side. And so anyway, I got this idea, and slowly but surely it congealed. And then I found myself creating ways of promoting it, but I still hadn't come up with a show that really, I had all kinds of ideas, and I still do, but I really wanted to create the actual platform of myself as both a minister and a performer. So that was the goal with the Edge of Every Day. That was my own edge right there. So now what's up next for me is last September I did the show at the Metropolitan Room, and we did a 5-track recording of it, and I've been mixing that down and expanding that show to do a CD release party, which we were thinking we were going to do in the spring, but that's probably not going to happen until the fall, because there's too many other projects that are coming down the pike. But I also wanted to quickly mention the work that you and I did together. Garrett, the Blue Giraffe. Unbelievably, the work with your plays has been extraordinary, and it just is so in alignment with the mission of Sacred Stages. And you're so prolific, and so it's just such gorgeous work, and Coffee House Magic. It was such an honor to be a part of all of that with you.
Well, thank you.
And we've got more of that to do, I'm sure.
Yeah, we certainly do. I have to see the big picture here again, because I always go back to the forefathers. I believe that, you look back at what has happened to see where you're going. And I see this, on the edge of a bright horizon. 960 AD, Pope Gregory interjected drama into the Mass and gave actors respectability again. In the Dark Ages, we were considered rogues and trash cans, and people just kind of threw whatever. And it's happening again now. The artists are suffering, and now it's like all of a sudden, something like this, work that's meaningful, fun, exciting and transformative. That's where we're at. You know, it's passionate and powerful. The voice of Sandra Bargman is a force nature calls to the wild and wondrous elementals of life. Well, let me give one more kudos from Andrew Martin, Cabaret Exchange. Every once in a while, a glorious cabaret entertainer comes along that makes the spectator gasp. So it goes with Sandra Bargman. A mix of cabaret, performance art, and universalist revival meeting. Absolutely heaven sent. And yes, this was absolutely heaven sent.
Oh, thank you. And listen, I really have to mention my band. They're so amazing that I can't play their music and not mention them.
Absolutely.
Ian Herman, my musical director and arranger and co-writer, fantastic, and my friend. On percussion, Mr. David Silliman, and on bass, Mr. Jerry DeVore. They are wonderful to work with. And so stay tuned for the CD release party. You can go to sacredstages.org for more information. We will have an expanded version of The Edge of Every Day coming to theaters. We're checking into what venue we want to continue with. And also, Ian and I are writing a lot of new music.
Excellent. Oh, that's
so that will definitely be a part of our next performance.
Wonderful. Sandra, thank you so much. Let's close with your beautiful, beautiful voice in I Can See Clearly Now. From the Edge of Every Day, ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Bargman.
Thank you so much, Connie.
We're going to do one more because we're making a record. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now.
I think we got it, ladies.